There should have been a knockdown, one. So that's why I'm yelling at the referee, like, keep counting. Like, tripping, keep counting. That's a knockdown. Because if y'all didn't notice, he started the count.
The boxing world is reeling after a bombshell revelation from Tank's own camp. His trainer has allegedly exposed the truth behind the controversial fight against Lamont Roach Jr., and the details are nothing short of shocking. While fans had already suspected foul play, this revelation goes far beyond questionable judging. It suggests a carefully orchestrated setup designed to protect Tank's undefeated record.
Stuff that we think I don't know about. He think he got one up on me. I don't know. He think he got a mold somewhere. I told him I got a mold too. How about that?
The fight may have ended in a draw, but fans watching knew something was off. The most controversial moment came in the 9th round when Tank unexpectedly took a knee after Roach landed a jab. To everyone watching, it was a clear knockdown, yet the referee refused to count it. Now, Tank's trainer has allegedly admitted behind closed doors that the ref was never going to call it, because the fight was already rigged to go a certain way. The plan was simple. If Tank couldn't dominate, the worst-case scenario would still be a draw. The judges weren't on it, the ref wasn't on it, and most importantly, Tank knew he was being protected.
Down in the knot, you know. So a lot of people said that if Lamont Roach would have got that call, he would have won the fight. But like I said again, Tank Davis is usually known for knocking out his opponents, you know, being very timely, letting them win their...
Tank's excuse for taking a knee was flimsy. He claimed grease from his hair burned his eyes. However, his own hairstylist later debunked that, stating no grease was used. Now, his trainer has reportedly admitted that the knee wasn't due to grease or exhaustion. Instead, it was because Tank felt Roach's power and needed time to reset. He knew he was getting outboxed, and the referee gave him a way out by not calling a legitimate knockdown. If that round had been scored 10-8 in Roach's favor, the entire fight could have shifted in his direction.
Yeah, Lamont, he didn't do enough early, and then when he got like midway through the fight, he kind of like established himself, and then he didn't dominate, but he asserted himself the latter of the fight to where it's like, in my opinion, I said literally at the end of the 11, I said, if there's no knockout, this looks like a draw.
What's even more shocking is what allegedly happened after the fight. Sources close to Tank's camp claim there was a meeting before the judges' scores were even announced. During this meeting, Tank's trainer was reportedly informed that the fight would be ruled a draw. The message was clear. Asterisk, we couldn't give him a win, but we weren't letting him lose. Asterisk, this suggests that no matter what happened inside the ring, Tank was never going to walk away with an official loss. Roach's team is understandably furious, and they have every right to be. One insider even revealed that Roach was warned before the fight that he would need to dominate every single round just to get a fair decision. Now, with Tank's own camp allegedly admitting to the setup, it's obvious Roach never really had a chance. This wasn't just bad judging, it was a rigged outcome from the start.
If the question is about Gervonta Davis's power, what is his power like? Is he as hard a puncher as he's made out to be? If the best name that somebody could give me, if somebody that he knocked out is a little dude who was at his...
Adding even more fuel to the fire, rumors are now swirling that Tank's team was already negotiating a rematch before the fight even took place. This suggests they may have known in advance that the fight would be close enough to justify running it back. Some boxing insiders believe this was all part of a larger business strategy, one designed to build controversy, protect Tank's undefeated record, and maximize profits from a high-stakes rematch.
Was he outboxing me? Was he using the ring to set me up with certain shots or anything like that? No.
And if that wasn't enough, yet another shocking detail has emerged. Rumors circulated before the fight that Roach would never be allowed to score a knockout, even if he landed the perfect punch. Some sources claim that if Roach had seriously hurt Tank, the referee was ready to step in early and dismiss it as a slip or a clinch rather than a legitimate knockdown. If that's true, then this entire fight wasn't just controversial, it was an illusion, carefully orchestrated to ensure that boxing's biggest star never had to take a loss.
It's gonna have to do that shit over. I think it was a scheme so they could have a rematch anyway. You know what I mean? Like, that was the whole thing, so they could do the rematch anyway, because you can't, you got beat.
Terrence Crawford took to Twitter, stating, asterisk, they robbed that boy. Must have forgot the rules tonight. Asterisk Ryan Garcia echoed the frustration, calling the missed knockdown asterisk the wildest thing I've seen. Asterisk, Davis blamed grease from his hair for affecting his vision, but fans weren't convinced. Meanwhile, Roach remained firm in his stance, saying, asterisk, "I did enough to get the victory." Asterisk, call for an investigation are growing, with many seeing this as yet another example of boxing protecting its biggest stars. The demand for a rematch is intensifying, but this controversy has once again shined a light on the sport's deep-rooted issues of corruption and favoritism. The question now is, will boxing finally take action?
We literally saw the mental breakdown of Tank. Like, again, if you got that elite level eye, you know what you saw. He was intimidated by Roach, and it was like baffling to see. Why was he moving? Because to me, he was intimidated by Roach. To me, Roach was walking him down. To me, Roach was doing more body work than him. To me, Roach was faster on the counter.
Despite all the controversy, Tank and Roach are now on the verge of a rematch, and the boxing world is buzzing once again. Roach's promoter, Gary Jonas, has confirmed that the second fight is nearly finalized, setting the stage for an even more intense showdown. While Jonas didn't reveal too many details, he did hint that Davis will enter the rematch with a completely different mindset. No more talk of retirement, no distractions. He's probably woken up, Jonas suggested. But that raises an even bigger question. Why wasn't Davis fully locked the first time? And more importantly, if the rematch is happening, does Roach truly have a fair shot this time? Or is the outcome already set to ensure Tank stays on top no matter what?
Well, hopefully the commission gets this right. It was a bummer not being declared the winner on a technicality that could be righted. That wrong could be righted, obviously, in different ways, in different facets.
The first fight ended in a controversial draw, but many fans and experts firmly believe Roach was robbed of a rightful victory. Referee Steve Willis initially appeared ready to call a knockdown. He even started counting. But mid-fight, Davis pleaded with him. And just like that, the count stopped and the fight resumed as if nothing had happened. That single moment could have completely altered the outcome. Had Willis stuck to his initial reaction and officially ruled it a knockdown, Roach would have won by unanimous decision. This isn't speculation, it's simple math. The WBA lightweight title would have been his. And Davis would have suffered the first loss of his career. Instead, the decision stood, and Roach was left with no choice but to voice his frustration on social media.
Knockdown that wasn't in round number 9. Gervonta Davis takes a knee, landed a right hand and 2 jabs afterward. What was on your mind?
Man, I was surprised, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I thought it was a 10-8. Like,
Yeah.
that's what really was going on. Like I was confused when he looked at the ref, but when he took the knee, I was like, and I grasped the concept that he was on the ground. I was like, that's a 10-8.
The fallout from the fight didn't end that night. Roach's team wasted no time filing an appeal with the New York State Athletic Commission, arguing that the referee's mistake had directly impacted the outcome. In a rare moment of honesty within boxing politics, the commission actually admitted that Davis's knee should have been ruled a knockdown, but despite acknowledging the error, they still upheld the draw. Their reasoning? They claimed that since the fight continued for several more rounds, both fighters had already adjusted to the ref's decision, making it unfair to change the result. It was a flimsy excuse, but not a surprising one. Boxing has a long history of protecting its biggest stars, and Gervonta Davis remains one of the sport's most valuable names.
Lesson, shout out to Lamont Roach and his whole team, man. Hopefully we can run it back, for sure. Bring it back to New York. Let's do it again. Let's have a
Roach's reaction was passionate, but composed. He made it clear that he wasn't the one who filed the appeal. His team did because they knew it was the right move. He never expected the decision to be overturned. But that didn't mean he wasn't disappointed. While he wasn't surprised by the commission's ruling, one thing was undeniable. He knew he had won that fight. In his own words, asterisk, "Everyone knows I won the fight, and I'm satisfied with that. Part 2 on the way." Asterisk.
Roach, let me tell you something. Tank got spanked. Roach should have won. And Tank even dropped to his knee. It should have been called a knockdown. But they let it slide. They said, you know what? He said he had grease in his eye.
With the rematch nearly official, serious concerns remain about how it will be handled. The first fight already left fans questioning the integrity of the decision. And now that the New York State Athletic Commission has admitted the referee made a critical mistake but refused to correct it, trust in a fair rematch is shaky at best. The controversy extends beyond the fight itself. Rumors have swirled that high-level figures in boxing ensure the outcome was predetermined before the opening bell. If true, Roach was never going to win that night, no matter what he did in the ring.
If
finally, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Gervonta Tank Davis situation. What was your assessment on his fight against Lamont Roach, and what are your thoughts on the knockdown that wasn't called in round 9?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont he wasn't coming to lay down.
This isn't just about competition. It's about business. A heated rematch means bigger profits, and controversy sells. By keeping Davis's record intact while giving Roach just enough of a case to demand a rematch, the promoters have set the stage for another massive payday. But Roach isn't the only one questioning the fairness of the rematch. Fans who watched the first fight unfold are skeptical. If the last fight was manipulated to protect Davis, why would this one be any different? Roach already had his moment to win, but the people in control didn't let it happen. What's stopping them from doing it again?
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, you know? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.